Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to IndieQuebec.com. It's the Turner Podcasting System right here on IndieQuebec.com. Today, we're going to be reviewing a Thunder episode. It's a December 11th Thunder from year 2000. I couldn't do this alone. I got my one and only co-host here, the WCW expert himself, the Stinger. Stinger, how you doing, buddy?
I'm very good. Wrestling fans, back to the 2000s. I love this little segment we always do because I could visit the 2000s at least once a week. I am very attached to those good old golden years, as we say. And big homage to it. I've been playing WWE 2K22, and I literally downloaded the WCW 2000 arena, that ghetto Thunder 2000 arena where they just put no effort in
Just
it.
the
So
big TV they have.
absolutely, bro, absolutely, and it says Thunder 2000, so it's hilarious when I saw that. Plus, like you could like they have the 98 set in the game, and it's so beautifully done. You know, that vibrant steel gray
They
and
really
the
nice.
blue. They went out, but then you could see the comparison with the 2000 depressing, lazy Kevin Nash doesn't want to work type of
Yeah,
set for
the
sure.
set and Kevin Nash have a lot in common.
Yeah. Definitely, man.
Yeah. So this show was from Boiser City, Louisiana. Louisiana, the good old Mid-South territory where Million Dollar Man and Hacksaw Jim Duggan,
Came from.
Junkyard Dog, Jim Ross. A lot of guys came from the legendary area. It's a hotbed. What did you think of the crowd before we
Bro,
get
they were wild, not wild, but I like the vibe of it. You know, it's good old Louisiana, and I don't think it's the first show they did. They always have a boom crowd. To be honest, man, I think this crowd was a little more excited than the last pay-per-view crowd. So the pay-per-view before, right? So yeah, it's definitely
like
a wrestling
Washington,
city.
D.C., more
Absolutely,
of a
bro.
northern city.
Exactly.
WCW was always hotter in the South. Like, that's
You
for sure.
know, Georgia, Mississippi, like all those places,
Yeah,
no doubt. So
exactly. So, yeah, so Thunder. This is our first Thunder that we recap. We're going a bit backwards in time because this was the Thunder right before Starrcade 2000.
arcade.
So, because we had already reviewed Starrcade, but then we found this Thunder. We wanted to review a Thunder. So, first match, Evan Courageous and Jamie Noble against the Young Dragons with Leah Meow against 3 count, which was just kind of 2 count, Shane Helms and Shannon Moore in a 3-way tag match.
So these guys have been opening, and again, great talents. They're great wrestlers. Like they were the new gen era, but it's always opening with either 3 count, the Young Dragons. And if you realize, bro, Evan still has the 3 count entrance video package. They're just so lazy. They're just like go
Like,
out
whatever.
with your meh, and that's kind of sad because as a good wrestler, which these guys were, super talented, do the effort, bro, too, because for these guys, they're on mainstream. You're WCW,
For
even though
sure.
horrifying, like put some effort into the video package and,
Like
into
the
the
whole
character
fact that like
itself.
they're not changing the sets. Yeah, the video packages are like outdated.
But I blame the wrestlers too, because I think they're just like, they gave up. They're like, I'm getting paid tons of money. Who gives a shit about the video package? So
That could be part of
that
it too.
also as well, for sure.
I
But
would say, yeah, like I always like the matches with these guys. They have another outstanding match here. Like every match these guys have is
yeah,
really
man.
incredible.
They're always
But
springboarding, high flying, exciting action. They're cruiserweights, bro. Like Evan, the springboard, he does a springboard in with the double clothesline. Like it's always entertaining. You start out
no, yeah, for
excited.
sure.
So these guys for sure always have their ladder matches. But it's always the same
Exactly,
opening.
that's the problem. They're always the same guys opening the match, and they like. I think in late '99 they fired all the cruiserweights and then just hired these guys, and then they were in like a never-ending feud until WCW like closed.
I mean, like
basically.
that's fine. That's fine. Like, I think yes, you're right. Like they got rid of all, the traditional cruiserweights, like Liz Mark and etc.
El Dandy.
El Dandy, Silver King, rest in peace. And Cyclops was Cyclops. No, yeah, there's Cyclops. No.
Psychosis.
There's Psychosis, and there was that guy
Oh,
with the gold Cyclops. I think there was
Ciclope.
Ciclope. Ciclope was fired as well. But it's true, man. Like they're great talent. It has nothing to do with the talent, but it's always the same opener. So it gets boring after a
No,
while,
that's
just for
it.
that,
Like, as
not the
amazing
match.
as it is, they're super athletic, but it just feels like it's on repeat. Like,
WCW's always on repeat and recycle, repeat and recycle, repeat and recycle, bro. And
yeah,
tons of money getting dished out. So
no, for sure. So yeah, like it was what it was, but yeah, like it would have been more exciting had like we hadn't seen this match already like 15 times.
but to be honest, this was one of the best matches I've seen in weeks. Like talking about WCW 2000, because it's
So
always
like
exciting
turning
to see
this
this guy.
on, out of all the wrestling you've watched, this match was like killing
Like
it.
a good one for sure. You know,
Yeah. And that
speaking of
includes
that year.
WrestleMania being last weekend.
Oh man, I only liked one match, guys, and obviously our Stone Cold versus. It was pretty solid, to be honest. But Thunder was pretty good too, definitely.
Yeah.
This Thunder.
Yeah, it was. Like, honestly, this Thunder wasn't that bad compared to a lot of pay-per-views and
And Nitros,
shows.
holy! I didn't believe you when
Especially
you
the
said that to
Nitros.
me, B. But when I saw it, I was like, "Well, shit, man, the quality's a bit better." Okay, it's recycled, but it was pretty good, man. Like
It
the
felt
the
like they sticked
the
more to the
leading up.
wrestling,
That
and that
means there was a
helped.
different writer. Someone else was writing Thunder to be competent like that. Like whoever was writing Nitro was just a not,
Complete
like, bro,
insane.
what? Yeah, like seriously, dumb ass. But Thunder, you can tell there was two different writers.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. It might have
So
been Johnny Ace. I know Johnny
Johnny
Ace was
Ace,
hired by
he's good. Yeah,
WCW at this
definitely,
time.
definitely. Johnny Ace did a, I think, not bad job, to be honest. He knew what he was doing at least.
Well, he was
He had to work.
definitely like a
Yeah,
corporate guy. So the next match, we had the perfect event against Chavo in a 2-on-1 handicap
in a
match.
handicap match. So Chavo comes out touching everyone, like giving props. So I don't know if he turned face.
No, but
It's
that's
just
what I
like
didn't understand either. He's like more heel, but face.
So
What?
that's the first thing I realized. That's the first thing I realized. I said, whatever, I like Chavo, whether he's heel face, but he came out, giving everyone props because automatically Perfect Event gets put in the heel category. So,
No,
you
that's
know,
it.
I don't
Exactly.
know if they're trying to balance, like I come out as the face,
It would have made more
but
sense had it been like one of the misfits in action that were still faced, like The Wall or Hugh Morris, you know?
yeah, exactly. God,
And
such a
like it's so like normally a handicap match is like the one person who's alone is usually like the Big Show or something who's
yeah, it's
like
like a massive
twice
guy
the
versus two
size.
little guys or two little medium guys,
Not
but then
one
you have a little
cruiserweight
guy
against
versus
two
two
huge
massive.
guys.
Exactly, bro. That's like a crime, pretty much.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
criminal.
It was just like a fucking legal assault. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, as we were saying, there was some like not amazing like parts. Like this match was fine for what it was, but like how good could a handicap match be with like two guys beating the crap out of one guy
That's it.
and they're all supposed to be heel.
Exactly. And
Like,
you see the misfits, they're trying like they want to be out so bad, and they're just like watching frustrating. So
yeah,
like
yeah,
screwing up
like
that
Lash
Chavo's gonna
LaRue
come
wants to
back.
go help him, but like
Yeah,
Hugh
yeah,
Morris
they're
is like,
holding.
no, no.
So you're trying to feel guilty for him, like, oh my God, where's his friends? But match honestly was okay, to be honest. Lash
No,
gets
that's
told
it.
to
Like,
stay in
how
the back.
good can a handicap match really? Like, I've never
Not
seen a
really.
handicap match that I was like, that was amazing.
Yeah, it was always either like you get punished by the GM or you did something to
Exactly.
to get handicapped, right? So, but this was random, just out of nowhere. But okay match. Chavo gets put away. Perfect Event
Yeah,
ends up
that's
winning.
it. Yeah, and they're
Classic,
carrying
bro.
in momentum going into the pay-per-view against the Insiders.
Then we cut to Sid on the phone, says not to let Steiner leave the building because he's 10 to 15 minutes away.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was legitly late. Like legit late, just like
Yeah,
Nash and the rest of the,
fuck guys, I'm serious.
they're like, oh shit, we're live. Don't let Steiner leave. I'm 15 minutes away. So again, you never know if it's just like Geka out of nowhere or if this was
I
really
just want to
written.
compare one thing, okay? Because as you watched WrestleMania, they were building this year's main event between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar as the biggest match of all time. Brock Lesnar as a face reminded me so much of Sid as a face in the build up to this Starcade
Oh
because he's
yes.
so like, well, like I suck
Mo-
on the mic and I'm gonna be super casual, but
oh
like
yeah, absolutely.
I'm still over. The crowd's still cheering, but like horrible on the mic
That's funny, man. I didn't even realize because
and
yeah,
like
Brock,
so casual, you know?
because they're both scary big heels. They came in just crushing everyone, and then they're not really
They're not suited to be a face
savvy
in the first place.
exactly. And on the mic, especially saying face related things, like it comes off a bit cringe. And yeah, WrestleMania, and but like we already saw Reigns versus Lesnar, right? So I don't understand why it was the biggest match
It wasn't.
of
I mean,
WrestleMania.
compare
Like it
that to
was good
like
WrestleMania, but you compare it to all the other legendary, iconic WrestleManias, no way,
it wasn't as big as like
no way.
Hogan versus Andre, just
Oh my
like
God, no way,
one
dude. Or
obvious one.
Hart versus Shawn
Yeah,
Michaels,
Iron Man
96,
match.
bro, no way. Or Stone Cold versus HBK in 98, no way. 99 was, I think, Stone Cold versus The Rock, if I
Yeah,
remember. That was pretty big, but again, Roman versus, no, no, so it
no,
can't be done.
exactly. Just like
Incompatible.
the buildup was just like it just reminded me so much of this buildup, and I was like,
Yeah,
how could they like be comparing like such a? It's just like a face when they're so like, haha, like I suck on the mic, but who cares?
people
Like,
like me anyways. They buy my shirts and they choose, they choose me. They pick me in the video game. Yeah, because you're right. They're trying to build up Starcade, the granddaddy of them all, like WrestleMania. And yeah, no, like
no,
Papa
it's a
Pump. Like it's Papa Pump, bro.
Papa Pump definitely was like
Like
carrying the
whether
team.
heel or babyface, he's amazing. People love them. He scared the shit out of people, and it ends there, bro.
Yeah,
Pretty
exactly.
much.
It's just sad that like his real world title run came at like such a bad era, like in
Right,
general.
right, for sure. Like poor him. But every time I saw Steiner, I always knew he was gonna become big. Even in, when he became NWO Steiner, bro, like yeah,
It
right
was like,
away you knew,
whoa,
like,
this guy
bro,
really
he
stood out.
he did, and yeah, man. I mean, too bad for sure, but he made the tons of money. I'm glad he's
Oh yeah.
healthy too. He almost died in Puerto Rico when he got kicked in the throat, bro. Remember in
Yeah.
the early 2000s, he was in real trouble, Steiner.
And he
Um,
went into the Hall of Fame this weekend.
he went to the Hall of Fame with his brother. Absolutely. Vince. If Vince didn't induct him, I would call him a clown for real, because it's the Steiner brothers, iconic
Really.
tag team,
For
iconic.
real.
So, um, jumping to the show, Meng finds
Yeah.
Kiwi down on the floor, all injured and hurt. Hasn't got an assistance, and I think they're giving you making it look like for half an hour, at least 20 hours, like him injured for 30 minutes, and he wants revenge on Steiner. By the way, if Meng fought Steiner backstage in a real fight, Meng would
That
have
would be
killed
awesome.
Steiner.
But it would still
Dude,
be awesome.
it would still be awesome because Steiner was crazy, but I put my money on Meng.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. In a
Meng
real
would
fight.
rip his eyes out for sure, but that would be a good fight. Don't forget, guys, this was pre MMA, like before MMA became a
Yeah.
huge thing. This was a MMA, like a no MBD fight we want to see, Meng versus Steiner. Just adding that in.
No, definitely. It was like a minor dream match, you could say.
Now we jump to
But so yeah,
Prez's.
so later on in the show though, so they make the main event's gonna be Steiner against Ming for the world title, which right away is like a fucking problem because you're
Because
in the
we know Meng's
build.
not gonna win.
Exactly. You know Ming's not going to win.
We
It's the
know he's
same
not
thing
gonna
he
win.
did like the week before on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Nitro
Versus
with Hugh Morris, I think.
Hugh Morris, we knew, like, and he's gonna get the close 2 count or something. I don't know if, yeah, you know how it is. You know when they make you think that he might have a chance, like, oh,
Exactly.
but the closest thing he'll get is a close 2 count to a three
Exactly.
count, and then that's it, and it ends there. Obviously, we know Meng would kill him in a real fight, but there's no way on TV he would,
Like I
even be
think that they're
close to.
trying to like get people interested by being like, "Oh man, the world title is actually going to be defended on TV." Because that wasn't always the case. And this is
No,
like Thunder even, so
yeah,
probably
it is.
less. But then when it's so obvious that like Steiner was gonna win,
Exactly,
what's
it's
the
not
point?
credible with the opponent. Again, we love Meng, but on TV, no way he'd win. And
And
I don't know if they were
especially they're
trying to do
building up to him already. He's fighting Sid at the pay-per-view. What are they gonna do?
exactly. So it's
It's gonna be
pointless.
Sting versus who? Or
Yeah,
Sid
they shouldn't
again?
even made Steiner fight. Like in those cases, you rarely make the champion fight on the
Yeah, you just
Thunder,
don't make him
bro.
fight. He just
Don't make
makes
him fight.
appearances.
You can always do something that will lead up to one of his fights. Like
Yeah,
either like one of
a
his
brawl.
allies or
You could just
enemies
have
or
him
some
brawl.
shit. So they did that all the time. They were trying to get ratings, and that was the last strategy you should try. And then we jump to your favorite uh feud where Reno and Big Vito beat up Bam Bam
Oh
for hitting on
god.
their sister, bro. Uh Marie again, which is just random and out of
Like worst
nowhere. And
feud I think I've ever seen. Maybe. Like I like revisiting the whole thing or like every step of the way made no sense. Especially knowing that like the week later, what Marie is gonna end up turning again on Vito, and then Reno's gonna go back with the new blood
yeah. But bro, they
at the
shouldn't have
pay.
like honestly, I don't understand. Like cut that shit out from the show. Like see,
This
but
is
it's
just
yep.
bad. You don't
Yeah,
have
but
anything.
boo, there's no point to put that in the show. Like, just you can just like the main event. There's no like you're trying to fill. It's a filler. You're trying to fill the show out with just the random shit.
No, but that's it exactly. It's just too like
They could have
it
honestly,
almost like doesn't pass for like
they could have
entertainment.
just jumped Bam
Like,
Bam Bigelow and not mentioned Marie. That would have passed. Like it's the hardcore. They're vying for the hardcore, and but again, like you put
look, we
Marie
need to
in
get
there.
Marie involved.
They're like, let's give him a reason of why he's attacking Bam Bam or vice versa, like with Marie. Like just that little detail ruins it all. Um,
Yeah,
Anywho,
no, that's the thing. There's always like these little details that they just like don't think about, and then you're like,
pretty depressing.
the crowd's like, what?
No, they're just like, oh, I'm paid my money for my ticket. I'll enjoy what I'm seeing, pretty much.
So yeah, so then we get another match. The Cat with Miss Jones defeats Hacksaw, who's with the rest of Team Canada with him. And like, okay, like they're two pretty cool characters. Uh,
But again,
but
bro, we saw the
This
Cat
started with
versus.
like the Cat. Didn't the Cat? What did the Cat have to do here? He had. Did he? Was this? No. So the Cat defeats Jim Duggan. Jim Duggan is like teasing to become a face,
Right,
basically.
right.
I mean, I don't know. The Cat Lance Storm thing, it was an okay thing, but it's like we've seen this. This is like
Because bro, we
uh
saw the Cat Rection, then we saw Landstorm Erection, then we saw the Cat versus Duggan, then we saw Rection versus Duggan, then we saw like it was just tangled, and that's their mid carding
yeah,
or
they just
still
like
yeah
all like revolving,
rotate,
no
dude,
one moving up.
just like NBT versus 3 count versus the perfect event versus the Young Dragons, or I don't know, bro. Like they're just recycling everything. Yes, Cat's cool.
Yeah,
I love Duggan.
it's like they got like the tag team, like or the cruiserweight guys, they're always just fighting each other. Then you've got like the mid carder guys, like supposed to be your mid card is supposed to be to like elevate guys, but like
Yes.
Rection never became like a credible main
No.
eventer.
No.
Neither did
Absolutely not.
Storm, neither did Douglas, neither did the Cat. So like they just always ended up feuding with each other on like this like in limbo kind of thing.
Exactly. And but again, put in mind that this Thunder is better than most Nitros, so they
True,
at least
yeah.
tried to follow a hierarchy. Just the content in it sucked, like Marie and all that shit and whatever. But at least it is better. I gotta give it to that. They at least followed a type of structure hierarchy. So that's not
No, yeah, it
it's
wasn't
good.
completely
Plus
random, but it became
plus
like predictable.
Plus, bro, you can tell most of the Millionaire Club was out. They're lazy, getting paid at home, and they had all these guys. Like, poor these guys. Imagine them, bro, traveling from city to city. They're tired as hell, bro.
Working their
They're
ass off, and
performing,
they know like we're never gonna
dude,
be in the main event.
bro.
Like
Yeah, and they're performing bro. They're performing Monday, and they're performing on I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. Thursday.
Thursday,
One
yeah.
of those two. Yeah, it was Thursday. So they would be, bro. Like would really wrestle a lot, man. The young guys,
No,
especially
for
like
sure.
Evan, Young Dragon, all those guys, man.
All the main eventers had like really sweet deals, while the main event, the mid carders had like a normal contract.
Because they were getting paid merchandising and Turner's money, bro. Good old Ted.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, so throughout the show we get Sarge, Dwayne Bruce, who's like asking for a match with Luger. And we've seen like Sarge getting involved in this Luger Goldberg feud,
Right.
you know? And yeah, so it's gonna happen tonight. Sarge versus Dwayne Bruce. And yeah, so that is actually ends up being the next match. Predictably, Lex Luger defeats Sarge. And for some reason, I was thinking of like random articles that I could write that would be like funny and like that no one's thought of kind of thing. And I was thinking the most emo wrestlers, and I was gonna make like a top 10 list, and I was gonna put Sarge in there because he has like this fucking emo slash pop punk theme song that totally does not suit his character.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a drill instructor, bro. And yeah, I realized that. Like,
There's a song
why
like a fucking 14-year-old teenager from like 2000 would listen
from
to.
you mean Chambly Academy, but
Yeah.
you mean like Avril Lavigne's not AFI, what was the other Simple Plan type
It was exactly that era, you know?
it was.
And
It
this
was.
song sounded like,
So I think they were trying to be cool, they're like, oh,
yeah,
let's throw this out, but bro, it's the wrong character, man. This guy's like
exactly. I
a
think
drill
that they
instructor.
like,
He's
they bought rights
Goldberg's,
to songs
and then
first.
they're
They're
like,
like, okay, and now like Sarge really needs a song. Give him that song. It's like
bro,
that
give him an
doesn't suit him at
army-esque
all.
type song,
Exactly.
like
How does he not
Goldberg.
have an army song?
That's plus the match, plus the match itself. Luger, bro, he's physically dominant. Hits him with
He's
the
so
bat.
big.
He is huge. This is his prime. Like, this is his bodybuilding. Like, okay, so there's early 90 Luger and early 2000s Luger. Early
Yeah,
2000s,
he's
bro, the
even bigger
roids,
here.
dude, the roids, the cycles, all the training regimens changed, within 10 years. So you could
Yeah,
see
like
that
the
he was at his
quality of
peak,
the,
bro. Bro. He was massive. And bro, he ends up hitting him with a bat and racks him at the same time, like right after.
just
That was a
kills,
crime.
just completely kills him here.
Knocks him out cold. I think that's to build up the hatred between Goldberg and Luger that had been feuding.
For that starrcade feud, which actually was a pretty cool feud. I mean,
yeah,
underrated.
to be honest, because you had huge icon, which is Luger versus Goldberg.
Yeah.
So that was
and
the
you'd
last.
think that it would be like horrible, but like they actually made it into something really good. Luger is an awesome heel here, and him being like so obviously on roids makes him so more heel. I find too.
Absolutely, bro, because he's way bigger and more menacing. Like, bro, he's not
like you weren't already big enough in like '94.
That's it, dude. Like, dude, you had difficulties putting your FUBU shirts on, but
That's it, exactly.
yeah, he was very. Plus, I think he was starting to have a lot of problems here, Luger, out of the ring. So I don't know if that played a lot in his attitude with people, but he did make a great heel, bro. He was worst and more heel than a narcissist. Gimmick. Like, he was just like, I don't give a gimmick. And I'll squeeze your head like
acting like a cocky, rich, like
bro.
guy.
And he was a great shape. Plus, bro, when you're on the roids, you just love yourself. Like, you truly are narcissist for sure. But yeah, he was a great heel here, and it was a good feud, to be honest, decent, because you had two huge names, Goldberg, Lex Luger.
Yeah. So like this match had to happen. I mean, yeah, it was like good to build the feud. Not an amazing match. It's just you want to see Lex Luger beat the crap out of someone. Go back and watch this match. Yeah.
So then he stomps out Bruce, bounces, asks Goldberg to come out. Sees it doesn't come out, he just dips. He leaves out of there.
We knew Goldberg wasn't there.
So yeah, like, exactly. So they're just
heel, such a heelish move,
And then we jump to Page. Thinks it's funny that he's more older than Sanders. He's playing your junior like right after that, right? So Page has to wrestle Saunders. So we all know that Page is going to probably diamond cut him, but Saunders is a heel.
Yeah. At the
So
beginning of the show, like Ric Flair books Sanders against DDP, and Sanders
that
is
was a
like
punishment
pissed.
for, yeah, it's a punishment for Sanders pretty much, because you're fighting DDP, bro, who's going to cut your diamonds off. But I like DDP here, honestly. I really love DDP
He's
now.
one of the harder workers on the show. He was
He
still
is
super popular
he
off
was
that
great
like
shape.
98. How awesome he was in 98.
Absolutely, he was with Kimberly, so everyone thought that he was a Mac. Also now I still love him, bro. As Scott passed away, Scott Hall.
Yeah.
He's helping Buff right now, I think,
Yeah,
as
I saw
well.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Buff
Buff
is living at his
Bagwell.
place. So man, DDP, I respect him not only as a wrestler and talent, but as a person. So every time I see DDP, whether his match sucked or not, I don't care. I love DDP.
Yeah, it's like cool. It's always cool. It's always like a
I
good
love
thing to see
DDP
DDP.
for 100%. But he looked weird with the short hair. I really didn't like that.
Yeah, it's not
DDP
like
to
his
me
best
is long hair.
era here for sure.
But I mean,
He
it's
played it
2000,
in this
bro. You want to
never-ending feud with the
with the
fucking
earrings?
thriller.
That was so 2000s too. Like mad earrings on each
Yeah,
ear, and then short hair for sure, bro.
some like dyed blonde in there, of course. That was
Like
also
Kevin Nash in the first Punisher movie when he played the. Remember he played the Russian.
yeah.
He had the square haircut and the earrings, dude. So definitely super heelish. He was a heel in the movie, bro, because he had blonde hair.
Of course, all heels, you got to have the blonde hair, especially like in that era. Yeah. So then we get
Reno and Vito.
yeah,
Waiting
Reno
for
and
Chronic.
Vito against Chronic, which is pretty counterproductive, seeing as how that's already going to be a match at your pay-per-view like 3 days away. Why are you giving away a match that's
On the
already on your
Thunder.
pay-per-view? Like
Yeah, on the
WWF never
Thunder.
did that,
No,
They
they
might
always
put the
hyped it up.
guys in like some kind of scenario, like a tag match,
6-man tag,
six-man.
yeah, they would mix it up, but they'd never give you the raw product, like the raw match itself
No.
before the event.
But
So
that being said, no one was probably buying the pay-per-view to watch that match anyways, because
they're
it's
like,
such
they'll
a
never
dumb fucking
realize.
feud.
Yeah, bro. They're like, we're gonna get 6,000 views.
It actually
It's
ends
sad.
up being a pretty long match. It's like the longest match of the show. I'm looking at the match times here. It went 9:15. 9:15 of like a pointless freaking match. Chronic ends up winning. And yeah, it's just more like random buildup. And like, it feels like it makes even less sense knowing like we already know the ending of the whole thing. So it's like, fuck this.
So yeah, that's most that's WCW 2000 in a nutshell, bro. To be honest, like they did. I mean, the lack of quality roster, laziness, not caring, just watching you're peeing away your company
Yeah.
with the organization and the structure of all your shows, and just you can't even book matches properly. I like Vito and Reno. They're good talent, but just so, and Chronic too. They look lazy too, bro. Come on, you had Brian Clark getting paid tons of money, and Brian Adams, God rest his soul. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they were like weirdly used in this era. They go always from like face, heel, depending on like in
They're
this
trying to do the
feud,
APA thing.
they're like kind of just being used between like Vito and Reno, like they're being like pawned. And basically the whole thing comes down to they're just blatantly ripping off the APA gimmick.
Right.
know?
Right. So, but it was a
It's
good match, to be honest. Not bad for like we're talking wrestling here. I thought it was going to be worse. It was okay. Obviously, we know what was going to happen, but it's always good to see a good match.
no,
Two
but
big
that's it.
guys.
And like, you know what? Like my standards were set pretty low because it was Thunder. I was like, this is probably gonna be like even worse than Nitro. Like
Absolutely,
I remember
but then
Thunder being horrible in these
yeah. Like, it was so boring, but I'd still watch it back in 2000.
Yeah.
But man, whoever writes Nitro should be embarrassed, to be honest. And
Yeah,
Nitro's supposed to be your flagship show of the week.
There's some
Like
completely horrible episodes.
bullshit,
for sure.
bullshit, dude.
Yeah. So then we get that DDP against Mike Sanders match, which is kind of like our semi-main event of the evening, which is fine. Like I think they set it up a decent show overall.
Yeah, because before that, the Thrillers just laid out Nash, right? So
that's it.
they
So
lay him out.
DDP's going at it alone. He has to go out there alone.
Because Nash is lazy and he's like, okay,
And they're
tonight
like,
my appearance, I'm just gonna like get beat. I don't want to wrestle, and he didn't want to even probably give one boot or two right hands. He's just like, I'm gonna get laid out, and I'm done for the night.
yeah, we'll let DDP do all the work like usual.
Nash, like usual, bro. And DDP, poor guy, you know, he was not over. Well, yeah, he was overworked, but he was, you know, DDP was a hard worker, man.
He looked like he
Like you
liked
said.
it, but like, yeah, he was definitely like doing all the
Positively,
work in this fucking
positively
Insiders
Page, bro.
tag team.
Positively active, positively everything for sure. And then you have Kevin Nash, the
It was just like, give me
scammer.
the money and I'm
Yeah,
gonna do
for
fuck
reals,
all.
bro. He's like, I did my due. I'm gonna retire. Bro, it's like he was acting retired already. He's like, I did
Exactly.
my
Yeah, he's like, I'm
fortune. I
semi-retired.
created
Acting
the
like my dad.
NWO. Yeah, dude.
So yeah, so I mean it was what it was. DDP defeats Mike Sanders. And then yeah, so like the Thrillers.
Yeah, so Page beats up 4 Thrillers for a bit, and then you have I think they're building Palumbo and Stasiak who come in for the real beating.
Exactly,
So
yeah. So they stand
yeah,
tall.
for sure.
And like that's like that was like kind of obvious thing sometimes in this era, I would say, especially like in this era, feuds really always lasted like from month to month. It was like when the pay-per-view happened, if they had a match, the next episode it was like we don't hate each other anymore because
Yeah, they changed a completely new feud there. It was they. I think they were structured each month. You're right,
it really
because after
felt
1 month,
way.
yeah,
Even
yeah, like
WWE and WCW were
yeah,
very
because
structured that way.
they had to cut it off like dry and just beginning, you know, start something new without people
because you only had a
realizing.
month to build, right? And the pay-per-views was the most important thing in your business at the time, not WWE now where it's
That's
like
your
buy the
moneymaker.
network, don't buy the network,
Yeah.
whatever.
It changed. Times changed, bro. Pay-per-view,
yeah.
yes, where your bread and butter. Now everything's online, right? So they have to go, you know, membership, kind of like consoles as well. Same shit. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly. There's a
subscriptions and then
big change in the media in
big
general
time,
for sure.
big time, bro.
So that being said, yeah, so I find that like the natural born thrillers standing tall here, that made it obvious that like insiders were gonna win on the pay-per-view. Like often, like especially if it was like a higher talent, like say insiders taking on a lower Carter talent, like the thrillers.
Yeah, the talents.
Thrillers would always like on the last show before the pay-per-view stand tall.
Absolutely.
Over like the more established talent. And then at the pay-per-view, the more established talent would destroy them.
I agree. Kind of like a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. Guy gets beat up in some fights in the beginning, and then at the end reigns
then
supreme,
he like trains a bit
ends
more,
up winning,
and
then destroys everyone together. You know, so yeah, it classic wrestling, man. It's good stuff for sure. Because you know, only wrestling fans like us, like heavy wrestling fans, whoever's
notice
watching us, will
like,
notice
you've
that,
been
bro.
watching
You know,
it for years. Yeah,
exactly. Show that to parents. They don't know all the lingo and all the strategies and all the terms and everything.
Oh wow, he got beat up real bad there.
Oh, and he got him back. That's awesome. They got assaulted last week, and then they fought, and these guys reigned supreme.
That's
got his revenge. I'm satisfied. I'm going to bed tonight.
Yeah.
So
no, exactly. It's pretty
good stuff, but wrestling.
Straight up storytelling. So yeah, so then we keep
jump to the
Sid like all night. When is he going to show up? Flair has said like if he shows up, like he'll actually let them fight, because on the nitros and stuff leading up to this, he's like, I don't want you guys like actually physically fighting before our big main event at Starrcade. So if they had, they would have been suspended. I think Steiner would have got his title stripped. But then he says here, you can fight, but then Sid's like, not even there, you know? But we'll see.
Absolutely.
No?
Absolutely.
Okay. So then
yeah, we will see. We'll see for sure, because they've done that multiple times with big names.
Yeah.
Either they were really late and they couldn't make it, and then they're like, okay, shoot him live. For like the guy could be in Syracuse and shows in Louisiana, and then he's like, I'm on my way to the arena, and then you know what I mean? They always try to sneak some shit in there. Like
this was like a common thing for sure.
Yeah, trying to make it look like the person's not there, or like they're. I don't know.
Wouldn't that be an issue? Like, I mean, I can't just not go to school or go to work and be like,
pretty much, bro.
I was late. Like, fuck.
And no one cared. They had no like, bro. What? They have a manager? Is this a store? Is this retail? No, bro.
So
it's just like
May I speak with the manager, please? So then so then we get our main event. Scott Steiner, world champion with Madeja, taking on Ming with
Who has
Paisley,
Paisley,
who
who's
was
inducted.
also inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame this weekend. So we have a bunch of Hall of Fame inductees just in this match. Steiner and Paisley both inducted into the Hall of Fame this weekend.
What a
Pretty crazy.
coincidence. It's
What a
funny,
weird
eh? If it's
coincidence.
super coincidence. And who thought, like, Steiner is HOF. I like Paisley, don't get me wrong, with Booker.
No, but
She was in
at this
WCW.
time,
But like
before she was
randomly,
even with Booker, imagine
yeah.
no one would have been like, "Oh, that girl's gonna be a Hall of Famer one
Paisley
day."
was with Prince Iakea,
And
Prince
then
formerly
and then
known,
Kiwi.
and Kiwi. That's it. But I remember her a lot. I started seeing her a lot with Prince Iakea, who was formerly known as the artist. It's a Prince
in the
ripoff.
beginning of the Russo era.
Yeah.
I think
So I
before that
remember
she was one of the Nitro girls.
Prince Iakea, man. Sheesh.
And then
It's old
Booker
school.
T started hollering at her, and
Holla.
she got hired by WWE with Booker. And yes, but this all pretty much started here in WCW. I mean, she was one of the few women to actually get hired from the WCW to WWE. There was only
WWE and then stayed, yeah.
there
Like
was
Tori,
Stacy,
Stacy.
of course.
And,
They made a big deal about those two.
yeah, and
They
I
put
think
them
that's
right
pretty
away in
much
a
it.
feud with Lita and Trish.
Yeah,
but then
which was good.
the rest of the girls, like they didn't bring Major Guns, they didn't bring Miss Jones,
Sky,
they didn't bring Marie.
no,
Obviously.
Marie was probably
Marie, they're
filming
like,
on
stay
the
the
Jersey
fuck in
Shore.
Atlanta.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Go film. Go back. Go to New Jersey, and film some. She's probably a part of the crew filming.
And yeah,
Jersey Shore.
Exactly. I don't know, but
Jersey Shore style,
so
bro.
Paisley actually ends up getting hired eventually in WWE. She ends up managing Booker, and she goes on to be Queen Charmel, who was a pretty good character, you know.
It was a legit character, to be honest. Like when they said Paisley and she became Queen Charm, to me she's Queen Charmel now.
Yeah,
I'll still say Paisley because I remember her from 2000. You know, it's like Kurt Hennig. Kurt Hennig, you can call him Kurt Hennig, but he's Mr. Perfect for life.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah. Some characters like you're never gonna call them by their
Mike Rotunda. His name is Mike Rotunda, but to me he'll always be Erwin R. Shyster. Exactly. Okay, and that's it, bro.
That's a great example.
Ends there, man.
Definitely. So main event time. Ming versus Steiner. As we were saying, it was obvious Steiner wins. Steiner does win, but it's a pretty badass match, though. Two heavyweights going at it. Steiner ends up knocking him out and then putting him in like the fucking recliner because obviously he can't just like make Ming tap out, you know?
No. I don't think even Meng would have accepted that, to be honest, you know.
Ming's character was always protected as a badass, even if he never like looked like he'd go for he never looked like he was gonna be a world champion.
No,
but they give him random like good matches like
they did, and they paid him well because, bro, Meng to be I read this, and Meng was pretty much the bouncer and the security. It wasn't Doug Dillinger. Like Doug Dillinger, bro, you know, like we love him. He's still WCW, but he was on camera security. Like he's probably building security.
Too, and he looks
he's a former cop, so for sure he had his law enforcement buddy. Exactly. Except Bob Brady. Bob Brady. I love them so much, bro. I love that show. Mr. Garrison, but
especially from this era, 2000 was fucking funny.
Yeah, it was so controversial, that show, and hilarious. But Meng was actually the bouncer and like the regulator. Like if you had a backstage issue, a real one, they'd call Meng, bro, to break it up.
Because like there's so many badasses there. Like who can break up a fight between like
Meng? Everyone. All the interviews I've seen, they said, man, hands down, one of the toughest was either Meng or Steve Blackman, who was really legit. Steve Blackman once told JBL he would end him if he didn't leave him alone. Imagine Steve Blackman telling you he would end you.
You're like,
dude, I'd be like, dude, I'm so sorry.
I feel like my soul, like
exactly. I'm so sorry, Mr. Blackman. This guy survived. He got sick with. He went to Africa at some point, bro. And he got sick with Ebola, I think.
Exactly.
He was really sick.
For like 8 years he was sick, and then he came
Bro,
back.
you're a beast if you beat
This
Ebola
guy,
with.
Steve Blackman, we'll give a little story here. He was in Stampede Wrestling in like 1986. He was one of their most popular wrestlers, Stampede Wrestling being in Calgary. He goes to Africa on a tour, gets extremely sick, but before that tour, he was actually supposed to go to WWE in like 1988. But then he gets so sick that he can't do anything for like almost 10 years.
Oh yeah,
8
until
years later,
97.
he
Yeah.
comes back, gets back in shape, and WWE actually signs him because he was like still that good to like be able to come back after all that.
So imagine, bro, 8 years you're sick hiatus, and then you come back and you're better than ever, bro. And Blackman, they used him well. He had a lot of
Yeah.
good feuds, man. Owen Hart, I think.
In
Ken
99, he
Shamrock.
was even used as the hired gun of the McMahons at in the era of when, remember, King of the Ring 99, the main event was Austin versus Shane McMahon and Vince McMahon.
Yes, yes.
Blackman was basically feuding with Austin at the time.
Right.
But
This
they
was
never had a pay-per-view match. The pay-per-view match ended up being the McMahons against Austin, and Blackman was like their assistant.
Yes, I remember because Valentine's Day Massacre was in obviously February, and they were still feuding. They had Big Show come out as well, right?
Yeah,
as one of the hard guns, and then Blackman as well. And he had amazing match with Ken Shamrock, bro. The Lions Den one, the Lions Den, amazing.
The Owen
like
Hart
this,
feud, like you were saying,
dude. That was the prime of '99, like of WWE. I mean, like that Attitude Era was amazing.
Yeah, it might have been the height of the Attitude Era.
For sure. I don't know why he
was
didn't.
like right there.
He came back for a bit in the early 2000s, right? 2002, one. Like, I think he came back for a bit, and then we never saw him again. He started working backstage, I think, as an agent, things like that. No, so possible.
I heard he
no,
also. Well, maybe back then, yeah, but I've heard like in the last couple of years, he's actually a bounty hunter now.
Dude, I saw a commercial of him on YouTube promoting that.
Yeah.
But bro, I would not with Steve
scared.
Blackman. Like, bro, I would literally go and turn myself in. You don't want to mess. He'll end you. He'll end you, bro. And JBL was a bully, if you remember how he bloodied. So he really didn't want a piece of Blackman. Anyways, no more Blackman talk because he's a scary fellow. So yeah, Steiner was belly to bellying. It's not like he dominated Meng. They still gave Meng a bit of.
Yeah, for sure.
Like they're not gonna get him job.
Wrestled like a bunch of times over the years. Like
these guys are
versus the Steiner brothers. I think I see
amazing, bro. Veterans, bro. They probably worked way before WWF as well. Yes. So you had Meng, Barbarian, great tag team, legendary by the way. Even Barbarian was for real. These guys, the Samoans, bro, don't play around. They're very tough guys. Come all from long standing.
I've seen some Barbarian matches, like watching back some old wrestling. This guy was super underrated. I seen him jump off the top rope onto the floor where there was a table set up and the guy moves and he just fucking eats it, man.
Yeah. These guys were shit, man. That's a big bump. That must hurt.
The guy's almost 200 pounds too, you know. It's like
that's a big slam on the floor or on the table. But no, these guys were physically powerhouses, man. So they were never treated like little jobbers, you know. Even Meng, obviously, he's going up against Steiner, the crusher of all, the guy who defeated and Goldberg, and still in this match they didn't get him to job. Like he still got some few good. I think he got the tongue and death grip at him at some point, right? And then Steiner.
Like, it was a back and forth match for sure.
So,
but Steiner ends up pulling off the win. Two legendary dudes. I would say it was a cool main event, except for the fact that, like, you know what I think they should have done? Just don't put the title on the line. Be like, okay, like the title's not on the line, but you guys are still gonna feud. You're still gonna fight because Ming is still pissed that you beat up Kiwi, who's his friend.
Yeah, but should have done like you should have done like
just like more of a fight than a match.
True, you should have done like a maybe, I don't know, not a last man standing, but you know, another stipulation, not with the belt related, you know, so that you could just take attention off the belt itself. Yes,
just like a brawl somehow.
Like a brawl or like a backroom brawl, as you'd say. Like they should have done
assault, perhaps.
Backstage assault. And you know what's funny? They didn't
pushing throughout this episode.
Yeah, for Starrcade, it's true. I forgot this is a bit before Starrcade. So because after Starrcade, they don't mention that game anymore. anymore. They
No,
saw
yeah,
it
they're like,
flop and they're
oh, that
like, let's
bombed.
never mention
Forget
this
it.
again. Let's just start, and marketing our competitors' game, which
Yeah.
was SmackDown.
But hey,
It's a joke.
did I not see this online on YouTube? I think that as WCW was closing, there actually were in the development of Backstage Assault 2. And that people have
Yes.
actually found like some of the files online.
Funny tidbit, Johnny. Yes, and I read about that not too long ago. They had the schematics for the
Yeah,
game.
exactly.
I saw some pictures, and there was a ring made out of like a truck yard, and there was a ring in the middle. What happened is once WCW got sold to WWE, do you know which game took the main engine and the physics of the unreleased WCW Backstage Assault 2 game? It was Def Jam Vendetta, if you remember.
Oh
Def Jam
shit.
Vendetta was an amazing game. It was
It
all the
was.
rappers fighting. So they took that so if WCW still existed, the gameplay would have been like that because they knew they flopped and they needed EA Sports help, and EA Sports was going to revamp it for them,
And
right?
then they just used that for Def Jam Vendetta. Wow.
Def Jam Vendetta, who turned out
That's
to
a
be one
great
of the
fact
best
here.
fighting. Thanks. One of the best fighting games ever.
Yeah, and it had some great sequels like Fight for New York.
Fight for New York, amazing. I spent 4 years on that game, bro. Like I created many characters, amazing game. And it's just a shame because the first one flopped because they had WCW people getting like telling EA what to do. Do you understand what
Yeah.
So EA said, yo, off the second game, we're gonna do it our way with our, like just
Yeah,
give us
because
the
I remember the
content and
first one wasn't even that good.
no, dude, it was terrible, bro.
Yeah.
Mayhem was okay, like it's way better than Backstage Assault, but
It's just
Backstage
getting worse
Assault
and
was
worse.
disgustingly horrible, bro. I tried to play it last time, and I was super baked. I couldn't.
But so the 2K22 though, definitely
Guys, I recommend
definitely
it.
recommend
Prez,
it.
that's the first game you're gonna get because you have an unlimited roster, by the way, because you could create your own wrestler, but you can upload pictures from the internet onto the 2K servers and it models it to you. So all the wrestlers look identical. Like the Lex Luger I showed you was a created Lex Luger. The
Awesome.
DDP I showed you was created, the Terry Funk. So guys, I highly recommend they revamp that game. Obviously, it doesn't feel like THQ, but it's amazing. Like when
Yeah.
you slam someone, you feel it on the controller. You
Nice.
feel the heavy hit. You feel the punch. You feel the rope swinging. It's weird to say, but it's amazing. Fully recommend the guy. I think it's one of the best wrestling video games since the THQ era.
Nice. Yeah, definitely I'll be checking that out and we'll try to we'll have more video game related stuff probably coming
Sure,
on to the
we're working
YouTube.
on that. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
That's the next step. So yeah, so then eventually after the match, Sid shows up and they have like a wild brawl.
So he was late. That's why.
Yeah, exactly.
He
He's,
literally
like,
shows up
legit
5 minutes before the show ends, or he was busy. He was like, "Oh, I gotta take out my wife.
Okay,
I'm
if
just
you're
gonna show
late
up
for
there."
work, it's
Like,
one
dude,
thing. But say you're late for your whole shift. Are you gonna bother showing up if there's only 5 minutes left?
no, and it's happened already.
You might as
It's
well just
happened
go
already.
back home. Like, what the fuck?
It's happened already. Shout out to my boss. I'm sorry for that, but yeah, it's happened already. Where like, dude, I didn't make it all day, and I had 45 minutes until the store closed, and I didn't go. Where the fuck could I go?
No, why would
If
you go at the end of
if you
shows?
went, it's because you're guilty.
Yeah,
You
or you
were
really
supposed to
have,
be at
like,
work, and then you're like, yo, I'll just try to squeeze 45 minutes to see that I actually
well,
came.
I was
No,
here
you
the
might as
whole
well just.
time. Like,
Yeah,
bullshit.
exactly. Bullshit. Fucking. So that's what happened. They're brawling. They're trying to, because don't forget when shit showed up at the Nitro before, we're like, oh man, he's his next, the master and the ruler of the world. We were hyped to see him.
Yeah, well,
Especially
like,
just saw him for the last 3 seconds of the show. And then
and
you
he
got
wasn't
the
there for like a bit. Like, we seen Sid like off and on in WCW, but he had like reappeared. He had
last time we
established
saw him, he got
himself.
his title stripped, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah.
And before that, he was feuding Goldberg, right?
And then he was with Savage.
Yeah, he was
That
team
was in
madness. Then he
99.
feuded with exactly. And then he feuded with Goldberg. You remember Halloween Havoc '99? Goldberg decimated
Yeah.
because
Because the
Sid was
whole
killing all the.
Millionaires Club, Sid wasn't part of the Millionaires Club.
No,
We didn't
no,
see Sid during that era.
no. But he was standing with them. April
Like the
12th show,
first ever
2000.
one.
Yeah, you remember when they revamped all
Savage was there.
Bishop? Exactly. So he
We're
was
gonna rewatch
standing
that
with them.
one day for sure.
We should, but that Nitro was iconic. That changed literally the outcome of
And then the next
WCW.
pay-per-view, I think, was like a Slamboree, and all the
No,
titles.
Spring Stampede. Yeah,
Spring
it was a
Stampede, all the
tournament. It was a
titles were
tournament
off
for
the
all the
line.
titles. Yeah, I remember, bro. So that was I remember taping that on VHS like illegally
I
because
think
my
that
uncle had
was
the
like
satellite.
the last hope of WCW. Like people were really hopeful that it was going to turn around, and then after a couple weeks, people were like, "Wait a second."
I
this
mean,
isn't
the
good."
idea was good to reset and give the new
Yeah.
blood, and it was a big problem at that time because everyone's complaining that Hogan always held the title, Macho
Nash
held
always
the
in the main
title, Nash,
event, Luger, always
Hogan,
the same
Macho,
guys.
Luger. So they tried to revamp it, but the way they wrote everything is what killed the company. And just like I said, the organization, the recycling, and all that. So it's a shame, bro, because they did have a nice roster, but not as polished and good as WWF.
I
Bro.
mean, they had a good time slot. They had a good they had been on TV for years. It was an
Tons of
established
money, tons of funds
show.
established. Absolutely. They had two big networks. TBS, come on, the Superstation, TNT, bro. Like, what else better?
You're
You
on
know, they had
pay-per-view.
all
You
of,
had video games coming
you had
out.
video games, bro,
Like
all
video
types of
games coming out all the
licensing.
time. We take that for granted today because look, TNA in their whole existence, they put out one game.
Okay.
AEW
it's true.
has existed for almost 3 years. Their game
And they
isn't
still
even out
haven't,
yet, you know?
and they still haven't had a game yet. And I can't wait for that game,
WWE,
honestly.
before 2K22, which just came out, they took 2 years off because their game engine was so broken that they had to like build it up from nothing.
Oh, bro, and yeah, definitely, because and they did a good job, to be honest. Also, you have the customized arena of AEW, and I have almost 3/4 of the roster of AEW, so I can pretty
Nice.
much play AEW for the
Yeah,
moment
that's
until
it.
the game comes out. And bro, amazing. Again, guys, I'm not gonna start fanboying, but this game is amazing. I slept at I think 4:30 a.m. yesterday, and I woke up at 5 a.m. yesterday, but so I was really hooked. I didn't want to go to bed.
Marathon.
Yeah.
So what would you give this Thunder overall? I'm gonna say a 3 on 10.
Yeah, I'll give it a 4 because it was way better than most of
Yeah,
the
like in
Nitros.
comparison, it's been better than what we've been watching for sure.
I think Johnny Ace was writing and Terry Taylor, like Nash
was
was
there,
writing
Terry
Nitro.
Taylor.
I think Nash was writing Nitro
We didn't, we only see Nash backstage knocked out throughout this whole show.
because he's writing probably, or he just doesn't want to come into
Russo was
work.
gone at this point, so yeah, I think it's like a weird team effort thing going on here. Yeah. So yeah, folks, that was it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed the Thunder. We watched it. You can try to find it on the internet.
On YouTube.
It is on YouTube right now. If you look it up, we don't have the rights, but hey, YouTube, just look it up. You'll find it right there. For the upcoming episodes, we're going to look into what we want to do, fans, and we'll be back with something special for you in the next thing. We're going to probably move away from the 2000s a bit. It was cool reviewing the shows of the time for the time frame of the 2000, but the shows themselves, we got to get to some like better shows here. We got to get to
absolutely.
some 8 on 10, some 9 on 10.
Yeah, because we're doing depressing. We wanted to start with the depressing 2 to 4
only
on
get
10.
Better from here, baby.
Absolutely, exactly. But that era and other promotions obviously were amazing, and
yeah, that's it.
That WCW had amazing shows from '96 to I think '98. Still,
yeah,
there's a lot of good stuff. So
even
those
some
we look
old
forward.
school WCW we'll get into, man.
'95, man, you got me hooked on '95. I watched, I think, an episode last week of '95 Nitro, and holy smokes, man, it was like a pay-per-view. They like. The thing is, when WCW 95, when Nitro came out, is Nitro was amazing and you raised the bar high, but the pay-per-view was still good. Like you still had 2 good shows. It's not like Nitro. Well, you could say Nitro was a bit better, but the pay-per-view was amazing.
Was like even better than the pay-per-views. Even
dude, Nitro was like 12 on 10. Nitro was 10 on 10, while the pay-per-view was like Nitro was 12 on 10, while the pay-per-view was like 9 on 10.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, for sure. They threw it all out there on Nitro. They signed a bunch of good guys. There was like they established the cruiserweight era, and
They had fresh, innovative ideas. Yeah,
then
they
like
crushed
96
WWF.
started coming pretty quick, and then they were off to the races. It was huge times. So yeah, we're
Absolutely.
gonna be reviewing stuff from a bit every era from WCW. So we'll get more into that
Absolutely.
next week. For the Prez, the Stinger, we'll see you next week, fans. Thanks for watching.